Hello, friends. Good morning from Community Talks YouTube channel. Myself, Habibur Rahman, a promising social worker and academician from Bangladesh. Today, I'm with you with this talk series 3, Loneliness and Spiritual Care. This is after quite a long time that I mentioned previous time that I was quite good in health situation, but I really miss your company and comments to this community talks, and I'm very happy to invite Nancy Rodriguez from Australia. Nancy, how are you?
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to have a conversation.
All right, it's my pleasure really to get you here. I know you have a very tough and busy schedule with your clients, with your optimal counseling home. This is a really tremendous work you are doing for the clients there. So I'm very happy to have you here with me. Good morning from Bangladesh.
Thank you, and good afternoon to you.
All right. So my community talks. This is actually my passionate community sharing and caring process through the channel that I do over a few months during COVID. I thought, as a social worker, what can I do for the people? Suggested to keep physical distancing right over the months and maintaining some safety measures, and so many things were advised by WHO and our local ministry, health ministry, other suggested doctors. So I just thought I can do one thing that might heal somebody's problem that might be occurring, and sharing process over this virtual platform that has started community talks. Already this is in total video, most probably closely to 39 videos today, but in particular individual talk series, this is the third talk series. And all the videos were just like a panel discussions, 3, 4, 5, 6 participants, friends from different countries. And all my videos, more than 80%, I just invited from different countries just to get their voices, how they are, how community people are there during this COVID suffocation time. So may I ask you how you are passing your time in family, in your counseling academy, and how you are, Nancy?
Well, I'm one of the lucky people that have been able to work remotely. So I just want to acknowledge my privilege there. So work has continued on, but it's been very difficult because, like other people, I have parents that are vulnerable, I can't see, and then also worried about my clients who haven't had the supports or been able to continue the supports that they usually get. And also other clients don't have access to technology for telehealth. So that's also been an issue. But I have a garden and it's been nice to be with my family, and also a deep time of reflection. Yeah.
You have so many responsibilities in professional from after your family, right? At a time you were a transpersonal psychologist, you were a gestalt therapist, you were a clinical spiritual carer, which is a very significant term and area this time, especially to help people.
Yeah.
Because I would like to match this spiritual care this time is very significant in that sense. I found so many people that think COVID-19 is nothing simply due to their spiritual belief, due to their religious faith that COVID is nothing, so I shouldn't. Who bothers to wear mask, to take sanitization and some other process? If I is allocated or fixed to die that time, I definitely gonna die. So this is depending on their belief, which might be a cure or might be healing through some spiritual care, spiritual counseling, that actually people are in blind faith sometimes in that sense. And the marvelous work that you do, I just follow, whispering your, overall functioning. So many tremendous work you are doing over the years. The fantastic thing is client-centered solution focus, that always you love to care the clients finding their own strength to solve their problem by themselves, which is as a social worker I endorse this is excellent approach to bring solution by the clients by his own or her own strength, which is so. Can you start sharing this time and before COVID, the difference, the typology of the clients that you're dealing, the nature, the pattern, the way, right? This time, actually, practically, you're facing those.
So you're asking how I'm specifically dealing with clients currently now in terms of
Right.
COVID and
Yeah.
how they're finding their own resources. I have to thank my supervisor and also my teacher, Rob McCallie, who's taught me hypnotherapy, so the Ericksonian approach, which is really the Ericksonian approach, which is really that each client and each person comes with a solution already, and that being able to explore their own possibilities around what's happening in their own life and connecting to whatever resources they have, they can find a way to move forward. And the client is always the expert, not the therapist. And I know it's very fashionable now. Models come in and out of favor, like I don't know, fashion. But the person will always be there, and they have their own history, their own culture, and their own way of dealing with things. In terms of spiritual care, that was something I learned working in a hospital with people who were diagnosed with cancer. And that's a very interesting place to be, because you're faced with your own mortality. And so that drops you into a spiritual place quite immediately. So it's profound to see that people just immediately drop into a space of peace, and actually trying to find what's meaningful to them. So in terms of COVID, I think the whole world existentially has dropped into a collective spiritual place around wondering what's valuable to them, their careers, their children, their relationships. Yeah, and sometimes it's quite amazing to find that it's actually the simple things, like gardening or friendships. I don't know. What are you currently missing at the moment?
Yeah. But loneliness, actually, this time currently over last few months after COVID cases first time identified in my country, that was 8th of March, and before 2 months before it was identified in China, and after that gradually it's spreading of all the countries suffer, I think, in the global world. But loneliness, the term, it has been existed over the years, over the civilizations to the human being, and they are becoming lonely. They are feeling motionless. Sometimes they are feeling careless. They are feeling thinking in that way that nobody is not caring about them. Nobody is here with him. He or she has nothing. And I found so many cases among my students and other relatives that somebody among them has suicidal tendency. They're thinking life has no value. They're valueless, worthless in the society. So many thinking actually coming. And this time, when people are stuck at home, keeping distant from their offices, from their company, right?
Absolutely. And isolation is a physical sensation. So as soon as you start feeling isolated, you start feeling really panicky because you can't be left with your own thinking because you need other people to validate your story. And also, when you're questioning whether or not, when you're questioning yourself because you're afraid, you need to be able to check in with somebody else as to whether or not your reality is
Yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so yes, definitely what you're saying is correct, and especially if you're isolated already and you've got mental health issues and you have suicidal ideation and your supports have dropped. I do personally know more people who have suicided than have died from COVID, so they're numbers that uh, the impact of the isolation during these times and the collateral damage of COVID, I think we'll see into the future. Yeah.
That's great. And sometimes I see people have everything. He is or she is rich class people. He or she has car. She has nice houses, apartments, right? Having a big position. Even though they are feeling lonely, they are feeling frustrated. They are thinking they are actually excluded all kinds of happiness of the world. And there
Mm.
is people the opposite. They have nothing but they are happy. So this is very abstract term. In Japan, I should say, in a conference, in the from the audience, actually they were researchers, scholar, academicians, social worker, and government officials of social service department and ministry of social welfare. There, they asked our panel that what is happiness? What do you think about happiness? Actually, that was in that sense that was very tough question. In that way, our topic was poverty, poverty in that way, and zakat system in Islamic thoughts and Islamic rituals. So, what is happiness? And I had to respond. Actually, uh, the uh, the definition of happiness, the definition of life is different to man, individual to individual, society to society, right? It depends on, if you ask me, either I'm happy or not, in the morning or in the night, it will be differentiated. In the morning, I might say happy. In the evening, I might say I'm not happy because of some turmoil or some chaos already happened in me or in the daytime. So I might respond to you, honorable mentor. I'm not happy now. I was happy in the morning. This is human nature, so far I could believe. So Nancy, could you actually give me some ideas this time? The teenagers, the school, college course students, as they are stuck at home, most of the time after they've studied and gossiping with family time, they are spending more time in social media, right? They're
Mhm.
watching Facebook, YouTube, they're Googling, and also they're just watching televisions, they're chatting, messaging, so many things are doing. They're spending huge time on social media. And sometimes we could see hear from some guardians that children, their intention with their children, because they're passing and wasting their time. So how social media impact on mental health of the children this time? So how you can actually share me your thoughts?
If that one's complicated because they used to think that reading books would pollute your mind and they'd burn them. So first of all, we can't begin to understand what it's like to be a teenager unless we ask them. And I think sometimes we can pathologize them and criticize teenagers instead of encouraging them and letting them know that there is a positive future. And then on the other hand, I would say that being left alone a lot with your device that actually collects all the data around the things that you're looking at, and it feeds it back to you without being able, because I know I've got a teenager and she's been in her room a lot. Uh, it's been difficult, and she's even noticed how it's modifying how she thinks she should look. Um, so definitely maintaining some of those rituals at home where you're eating together, and instead of telling your children off, maybe it might be interesting to start a conversation around the things they are interested in. You know, what games are they playing? What things are they looking at on YouTube? Um, yeah, what you resist persists, and the more you lecture, you know what children are like. They'll do it even more.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
just one thing in our profession, social work, though this is a holistic approach we do. When a client comes, when we deal with a person having problems, just
Hmm.
we try to assess their strength and through
Beautiful.
the knowledge of strength perspective. So
Yeah.
strength perspective allows three things. One is the person under treatment or counseling, what he can do, what he
Mhm.
is, and what he wants to do. We do believe if a person has these three dimensions, definitely we can, in that way, we can assess his or her strength, and definitely we can put some solutions on that. But the client-centered solution, when a
Mhm.
client comes, like you can say, a teenager client comes, he
Yeah.
or she frustrated, she is not interested in study, and she is not, she can't sleep properly, she is not interested to take mail. So in that way, or such a client, when you deal with her or him,
Yeah.
actually, how we use client-centered solution focus, just to know.
Well, he's so I had a teenage client who didn't know what to do for his life and purpose, and was dissociating on too much gaming. And so I just asked him. I said, "So, what do you like to do?" And he said, "I like gaming." "Why do you like it?" "I like it because we're all collaborating and it's fast." And then I said, "Then what's the problem?" And he goes, "I can't decide what I want to do." So just asking somebody what they like to do has the
Mhm.
qualities of the thing that they want to do. If do you
Right.
know what I mean? And then he said, "Well, so in terms of a career, what they're the things that you would enjoy?" And he said, "Yes, I like a dynamic environment. I like the way that you can. I like working online." And this I got from Rob McCallie, who taught me the Ericksonian approach. That just really defining what people enjoy is so important in terms of them solving the problems in their life. Exactly what you're saying.
So
Mm.
every day, when you are dealing with clients, you have so many versatile clients. They are telling you story. You are just listening mutely to them, right? Towards a better solution. And
Well, yes, and also you have to fit in with people's philosophy. So if someone's a Christian and
uh-huh.
their spiritual practice is Jesus. Uh, I don't have to be a Christian to support someone's relationship with their strengths. Uh, and so you can support anyone from anywhere, just using whatever it is that they bring to the conversation. And that could be poetry. So, why would you use CBT on someone that says that they love poetry and that's a place that they can express themselves? Then
Mm-hmm.
poetry would be the technique. Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone loves to go to the beach and uh, and what's missing for them is connection to nature, then that's the technique. Yeah.
But Nancy, when a teenager boy or girl do
Yeah,
such behave, parents rationally they become disheartened, right?
they do.
Yeah, yeah. They start
They
thinking
do.
their children are not on track. They are not good children nowadays because they are not abiding by their rules, the set rules of the family. They are becoming obdurate. They are not a good listener to their parents, careless to the parents. So parents start thinking and parents start doing worrying and bad thinking that they are not, most probably their future is ruined. This is the way. So in that way, do you love to suggest some points for the parents, those who are instead of listening to the or sharing or partnering to their children, they're worrying about their future without listening them? Because we do believe for the best counseling, listening should be more than speaking. But with the parents that we do, we always try to speak more, listen less.
Yeah,
And
yeah. You lecture. We lecture our children, and I don't know. I mean, some people like the neuroscience that their prefrontal cortex doesn't drop until they're 18, and so for them to be able to imagine what the other person is feeling and thinking hasn't really gone
Mhm.
online. And teenagers are built to take risks and change the world. So, but yeah, we definitely need some boundaries. But as you're saying, listening is much better than lecturing, and giving your children enough space to explore, and at the same time uh, stay alive is so important. I mean, I've got a 19 and 15-year-old. The 19's on the other side, and now the 15-year-old, she's beginning to ask some big questions, and yeah, it's interesting.
Nancy, a very interesting question. Before to be a renowned consultant, counselor, right? Hypnotherapist, spiritual carer, you are a very good mother. You are a very good mom to your children. Am I
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I love the best.
So, yeah, I love to share my audience, fellow friends,
Yeah.
how you are a very lovely mom to your children. Actually, as a mother, how you are caring them.
Oh,
Practically,
okay.
I love to
Well,
know you, right?
Well, when I felt pregnant, I bought a book called The Continuum Concept, and it was all about this woman who went out into the indigenous villages and observed how the children were raised in the village, and the children were pretty much allowed to like go near the fire, go near the streams, and they were just a trust in nature and relationships. And so, yeah, from the beginning, I held them close and breastfed and um, attachment parenting. And yeah, I really surrendered to the process of mothering. And I think that's why I went into the caring profession. It's something that I enjoy.
But how you can manage time, because you are busy, right? You are busy with your office, with your clients. You are listening to other people's son and daughter as a consultant and counseling. You are always trying to contribute your best efforts to keep them well, to reduce their loneliness, make them happy. But how you spend time with your children, how you manage the time, divide the time with your children and office, what you do?
Well, now that they're teenagers, they don't want to spend much time with me, and we're all in our offices, but we make sure we eat together. And now with COVID, we're like flatmates. Yeah, yeah. And now that they're teenagers, unless I sort of invite them to go and have an ice cream, as soon as I walk in the room, it's like I'm already talking too much. So,
But
but the
one
balance,
thing,
yeah,
Nancy, just one thing, it might be even in Australia that when the parents are working, I mean on service, both father and mother, when
yeah.
they come back at home at the evening, they try to bring some chocolates, some ice creams, right? Different toys. Just somebody says, or one research said that this is kind of bribe to the children just to keep them happy and just pour them the whole day's laugh to them in a few minutes or in a few hours at night. This is the technique. There is no other alternative to keep you and my child happy, because you are spending more time at office. We are spending more time at office. So when the children are passing their busy, unscheduled, unwanted, and also, unroutine work, spending time at home, they're sometimes becoming puzzled, sometimes becoming bored. So when parents come at home, they try to share all their sorrows, happiness, experiences over the day. But as parents are tired after coming back the whole day office, they naturally don't love to listen to them. There is actually chaos happen that time between the children and the parents. So far, I could explain.
Yeah. I hear what you say. Yeah, it's an absolute discipline to just find more energy to connect with your children and seize those moments. But it doesn't have to be long. Like sometimes my children walk in the room, I just put everything down, and they really only need just for that moment, those 5 minutes for you to just you can get everything that's happened. It doesn't have to be the whole time. It can just be moments where they come in and you put your phone down and you're just fully present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So how
Nancy,
do you?
optimal counseling.
Yeah.
Curiosity to know about optimal counseling. I could follow that there are a long process to get some appointment because you are very busy to attend
Yeah.
the class time. So how optimal counseling is working and how you working there, because counseling is very, very important. Mental health is a burning issue coming days. So how you can share your thoughts and knowledge regarding optimal counseling so that we can promote this?
Optimal counselling is, well, I'm doing telehealth at the moment, and my favourite approach at the moment is the Ericksonian approach because it's uh, it's adaptive, creative, and applicable to almost anything. Yeah, if you'd like more information, you can contact me or text me on my website. Um, yeah, would love to hear from you or email me or any feedback on this show or any further questions. You're most welcome. And
So
yeah, so it's telehealth, which I'm not crazy about. I'm looking forward to seeing clients face to face. And I also do bush therapy, so I do take clients out into nature and do hiking. Um, and yeah, whatever's required. I'm very creative with my counselling practice. That's why my patients are so diverse.
you said you were also doing deep roots therapy, right?
Bush. So you go out into nature,
Uh-huh.
out to the beach, hiking, walking therapy.
So diverse way you are actually doing and supporting people in that way, and all these things has a center point that is avoiding or erasing loneliness from human life.
Yeah,
Loneliness
oh, and
creates.
not make, and that loneliness is different for different people. Some people are lonely but don't feel unhappy.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
could you share us some points, actually the criteria or characteristics, features, distinct feature of loneliness? When people feel lonely, what type of exposure does he or she exposed with you or with other counseling experts?
What kind of different kinds of loneliness?
Hmm.
So people that live alone. There are people that don't have partners, and so they feel bad. They don't get invited to other couples things because they don't have a partner. You could feel lonely because you're excluded from groups at school, or you could feel lonely even in groups because you don't uh, feel like you fit in. You could feel lonely because you're not in your home country and you're living abroad. Uh, you could feel lonely because you're like me at the moment. I don't have any colleagues because I'm working at home and I'm missing being part of an organisation and having other colleagues. So I'm feeling lonely about that. So yeah, there's as many ways. Yeah.
Nancy, that's great. But as emotional first aid, like crisis
Oh,
intervention,
yeah.
how
Loneliness is to contact someone. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. The social engagement centres always to call someone, and just like you invited me to connect on this show, I feel like I'm talking to a colleague. Uh, Sometimes learning, and so I've joined some courses so I can connect with colleagues. Um, yeah, pick up the
Some,
phone, call
sometimes,
people.
sometime I follow some friends, some seniors,
Yeah,
friends who are depressed but wearing some good dress and share some photos. I just thought most probably that time when they feel lonely, that they require some attachment of the people that you say, right? And they need some appreciation that they have value and worth in themselves. So still they're a worthy person. It's very,
exactly,
is that
exactly. Yeah, and some people alleviate loneliness from music,
right?
dance. It doesn't even have to be another person. It could be, being able to go to the park and feed the pigeons.
Mhm. Right. So companion is very important.
Yeah, and also
Keeping
not thinking you're sick or that there's something wrong with you because you feel lonely. Because we all feel lonely um, at different times of our lives, and it's really just saying that you feel disconnected and are looking for connection. Mm.
have you ever, I mean, faced some serious client passion in terms of drug addiction, drug addicted clients did you face? And actually, how do you give them counseling? Because in acute level of drug addiction, they are in uncontrolled situation. They are not having any sense to deal with you as a consultant and counselor. Definitely, you need to have some rapport, good relation with them, professional relation. But professional relation cannot be happen in one part. So both parts cooperation is very significant. So when you deal with drug addicted patient, I mean client, this is a chronic treatment process of right. I guess how you deal. Have you ever deal with drug addicted patient and help them to recovery?
It's not my area of speciality, no, but I have had, I suppose, addiction to tobacco and, pain medication. Yes. Uh, Look, we're never dealing with a label. We're always dealing with a person first and foremost, and a lot of people with addiction get a lot of people are prejudiced towards them, and that makes it very difficult for them to reach out around getting support. I remember once when I went into a hospital and there was a patient that was screaming from excruciating pain, and none of the nurses or doctors believed that he was in real pain because he had a history of heroin addiction.
Yeah.
So I think we need to get rid of
But
the judgment.
nowadays, Nancy, all the parents in my country, even in neighboring country, not only here, I mean around the world, parents always impose and parents always expect their children to be engaged in study rather than doing any right engagement with friends. I mean, any play or game or anything extraordinary or co-curricular activities. Actually, that can make them happy and healthy more than only doing study, because it creates some erotic situation among them. So, Nancy, could you share a few words about Scott Miller's feedback or Scott Miller's thought in a just in a one or two sentence, if possible?
Sure. Scott Miller is he does a feedback informed practice, which is really a very simple form that you can download from the internet, which is just three questions, well, three lines, and you ask the client between 1 and 10 where they are. And then they also rate the session with you. And what it does, it just gives you a compass as to whether or not the work you're doing is going where it should. And it also gives the opportunity for the client to give you feedback as to whether or not what you're doing together is effective. Because a person should be getting better seeing you. And therapists should be accountable for the work that they do. And yeah,
And
I can
what,
share
what,
some later.
uh, in my personal life and my counseling dealing with students, one thing I just got very significant, and also I follow the model in Singapore, that their actually model development model is this is part of model. I think their thought is appreciate the next one. I mean, appreciation others or appreciating others is very important, and it sometimes acts as a key to reduce loneliness from the frustrated people, because sometimes when people got disheartened, he loves to just stay alone, or when he got disheartened, he becomes or she becomes frustrated. So sometimes we just follow some people that when wearing a good dress, a good costume appears before you or before me, finding no other alternative. It might be my approach, might be my negative attitude, without considering anything. Sometimes we say, you are looking so gorgeous, too good or handsome. Sometimes we say like this negative way that uh, 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 dress is good, but color should be light yellow. That would be brilliant for you. But
Right,
it,
so you say something nice, and then you bring the person up and then bring them down.
yeah, bring them down, which is too bad, I think, sometimes, because you are with a very good mood when you are in a party, in a meeting. It's better if you cannot, or if I cannot appreciate them, leave them. I think I shouldn't say anything, or rather good words, because
Right. Yeah.
small
So you're
words
saying,
sometimes.
yeah, yeah.
It's
No, we should lift people up, and it's not always about us feeling bad that we're less than, but acknowledging and being supportive of other people. It's not
You're
always.
right. Speak few words, but before that, I would like to just get some ideas from you, some suggestions for my students and other students of the whole world, because this is a global platform. So many friends from different countries, they will watch this video. They are watching this video. So how can you produce some words for the teenagers, for the young students, for the university graduates, right? How they
Yeah.
can get better this time.
Okay, so I would say that when you're noticing that you're feeling overwhelmed, and most of us probably know how that happens,
Mm-hmm.
um, to do whatever you can that supports you to and I would say that running away from your problems, you got to feel it to heal it. So, but you need supports. So, I don't know. I like having baths. I like reading. I like talking to my friends. That supports me. Sometimes having a really big cry, and telling a trusted other how I'm feeling. And sometimes it's therapy, or going for a walk, because we're in a very fight or flight state at the moment. It's just normal and natural to feel scared because there's uncertainty. But being able to connect with others and ask for help, just ask for help. There's no shame in asking for help.
Nancy, there are so many comments from our friends, students, participants, right? Just one comment, due to shortage of time, I just shoot here.
Sure.
Addison's wrote, we have to remember every human deal with loneliness in different way. We need to learn to be active listening first. Learn to know the person before we found the way to help that person. Excellent. Actually, that we are discussing. Before giving them treatment, we have to diagnose first that what is his or her problem.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
that we do and we love to do, because there are some people, or sometimes whimsically we do, before listening we try to give them solution, which is very dangerous, rather giving no solutions, no efforts that way.
exactly. And that's the
Everybody?
problem with diagnosis and doing intake forms and having a preconceived idea of the person you're about to talk to before you even meet them. Mm.
So Nancy, we are very close to the end of the program, and my motive as a social worker, this is actually a global platform. This is an interactional platform. Sharing is caring, because listening is kind of sharing. It's a great way of caring in that sense, because without listening, no solution can come out even for any client, anything. So this community talks is a global platform, and as part of international social work, I have been communicating with so many friends and friends becoming friends each other. Actually, my motive is that because in this global world, globalization era, this is the bottom line talk, that we should be connected each other through this virtual platform. So my motive was that, and from this community talks platform, I am very honored that after having a very scheduled and tight schedule, you just joined us. You delivered very precious talk with us. So good hope, good wishes for you. So this is last minute talk for you. If you love to say anything from your side to our participants, audience, and the viewers of this community talks, this is over to you, Nancy, for next 2 minutes.
So what can I say that's important? I would say take care of each other, show kindness, reach out, and take all the time to take care of your if you believe in your soul. Make sure that if it's appropriate to you to have rituals with your family, connecting with friends that are important to you. And I think most importantly, I think we have to be very forgiving at the moment, because there's a lot of fear, and people are having conversations that are quite intense, a lot of political discourse, and we just have to realize that it's not business as usual, and just try and be compassionate. And thank you so much for the invitation to have a conversation. I haven't really done this before, and so I've been a bit nervous, and I hope it's something useful for someone.
Yeah, you were too good. Last 1.5 months, I was stopped because of my hearing problem. Actually, it's very
Oh,
tough to rely on this electronic device, and we are actually all the time we're using this mobile phone, laptop, so it's not really healthy for us. That first stop, but after a long time, after many days, I think 45 or 40 days, you were the first speaker today, and gradually I will share different thoughts from different corner of the world. So my request, those who will watch this video, please subscribe our channel Community Talks. There are so many videos on different thoughts globally. So global thoughts are here. Please subscribe our YouTube channel so that you can watch our next videos and the previous videos. So again, thanks to
you're welcome.
Nancy. I'm very honored. I'm very honored, really, Nancy, and thanks to our audience and the friends, those who are watching this video. This show, loneliness and spiritual care. This is very significant this time. So, Nancy, thank you once again. Goodbye. Goodbye from Bangladesh.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.